Guys, is Dead Island 2 really that bad? The Metascore at 75 is something. I'm not sure what to think about it. Like 75 is decent, I guess. But the first one was so different compared to this one. Like, okay, let me just explain. Look, man, I played this when it came out. When did it come out again? I can't remember, but I played it on the Series X when it came to Game Pass. And to be honest with you, it was
It's all right.
like, how do I say this? The maps were good in a way. The fighting style was great. The weapons were good, but at the same time, the story itself was so shit. Like, yeah, I'm like, how do I even say this, man? Like, okay, from the start, how was the starting? I don't even remember that. I know the ending was horrific. Like, it was so disappointing because if I remember correctly, you get left behind, or like you tell them to leave you behind, but your objective from the start was to go save your brother, if I'm correct, to find a cure or something and then find your brother, something like that along the lines. And then you meet these two, this lady and this guy, and then you let them get away, and then after that you just stay behind and then fend for yourself. So when I saw that at the end, I was like, oh yeah, this game is bullshit. What am I even doing? And throughout the game, I'll be honest, I forced myself to play it to the very end because, like I said, the fighting, the maps, they were good. I won't deny it. It was good. But the game itself, I wouldn't even get it past a 7 out of 10. I would say like maybe a 6, 5, because, man, let me tell you, the story was a snooze fest. And okay, maybe I'm over exaggerating here, but let's check what others have to say. Dead Island 2 is probably the worst game I've ever played in the past 5 years. But he forgot about Redfall because ain't no way he ain't talking about that. Worst. Redfall, exactly. Jesus Christ. Right, so the problem is, number one, comedy. I don't know, man, like, it didn't really make me laugh, but it didn't give me a straight face either. So I don't think comedy was really a problem. I don't know, that's just me though. Comedy was just chill for me. There's nothing to be afraid of. Is there no difficulty in that game? Like, I'm assuming there should be like a hard mode like Outlast, where if you die once, everything resets or you lose and you have to do the entire campaign again. So I'm not sure about that one. I played it on normal mode just like any other game. So yeah, resources are too plentiful. I mean, that's true because I did get overpowered weapons easily, and I was playing it on offline, like solo mode. So even with that, it was easy. But I mean, hey man, it was fun playing and using all the cool weapons. No complaints there. Most of the perks in the games are just awful and not useful. I'll be honest, the perks were trash. I was confused with the perks. I think I stuck with the same perks at the start of the game this whole time. Like, I couldn't even think about what was cool, because I think there was lightning perks, fire perks, fireball perks. I can't remember, but I stuck with one of them and then I just didn't change it ever since then. The game not being open world, I don't know, man. Like I said, the maps are good. Wasn't all that, but it was good. I don't think open world was needed for this type of game, especially with a shit story like this. So I'm glad they didn't have to do an open world, but it was annoying because you had to go into like each part of the loading screen, and then I don't know, like, you had to memorize all those parts of the maps, icons. Like, if you wanted to go into that studio place, you had to remember that. I don't know, maybe it's just me, but yeah, the open world wasn't needed for this game. So I disagree with that. The character you play as won't shut up. Well, I'll be honest with y'all, I like my yappers, so I don't mind that. I'm chilling, I'm in the sewer fighting for my life. I need someone talking, playing music or something, so the more my character talks, the better for me. Side quest takes 5 minutes. You know what, I'll be honest, the side quest in the game was absolutely shit. I think I only did like a few max, because I couldn't be bothered, man. Like, it was just so shit that I don't want to waste my time. When you open a side quest, you have to go halfway through the map, meaning you have to go to like 2-3 different icon areas, and then you reach that certain location. So hell nah, I'm not doing that. The rewards weren't even worth it. I don't even think you get like special weapons or like anything that's worth helping you, or like even cosmetics like a cool shirt, like a, I don't know, something. But hell nah, the side quests were shit, not worth it. The zombie killing in the game was so unsatisfying. I mean, I don't know how to feel about that. Like, I don't know. I didn't. Maybe I'm treating the game too harshly, but I feel like it was decent because if I remember correctly, the killing animations for the game, and then the weapons itself, like the lightning around the weapons, the fire, the katana, and all that, the breaking sounds and all that, it was cool, you know. So I don't think so. Maybe I don't know. I disagree with a lot of this. I do agree with the side quest part though. It was insane. Not worth it. The rewards were shit. Just not worth the time. Yeah, look at this one. Agree with maps being small and skills not being as good as the first one, but almost everything else can be said about the first game as well. The weapons are meaty and satisfying to use, and the gore system is the best I've ever seen in any melee focused game. The combat is by far the best thing about the game, and I'm sure most will agree. From the grades part, it's not a bad game. I'll probably give it a 6.5. You know what? This is probably the best comment here to this reply because, you know, like I said, the satisfaction of killing them and the melee system, it was amazing. You know, I can't deny that. As much as the game was boring and all that shit, this was amazing still. So yeah, I would say it's not past 7, 8 out of 10. If someone does give it, then I can't believe it because the game is just not all that. But I would say somewhere 6 to I guess 6.5 out of 10 is a good rating. I agree here. 8 out of 10. Gameplay 5 out of 10. Maybe I would give the gameplay a 7 out of 10 or 8 out of 10 because of the weapon fighting and all that cool stuff. The plots and characters, 1 out of 10. You know, 1 out of 10, man. It doesn't even deserve a 1 because it was so trash from the start to the end. Maybe not the start, but my god, when he just said, you know what, screw my brother, screw myself, you two can get out of here. This was all a waste of time for the person who's playing me to get to the end. You know, I was like, come on, man. Like, I played you from the start to the end and you just sacrifice yourself like that? What a loser, man. And then conclusion, 5 out of 10. Yeah, you know what? I agree with this. Anyone else got blocked by commenting on my thread and disagreeing with me? Come on, man. LOL, you're going to block people for having a different opinion than you? What a moron. Imagine blocking people who have a different opinion than you. Most say when they're absolutely right and you're wrong. Look, man, I'm just saying that, you know, Dead Island 2 really wasn't all that when I think about it. And I can't believe people praise it. Like I said, you can praise the combat. There's no denying it. I'll praise it myself. The graphics were great. No denying that. But other than that, everything else was shit. You know, when I think about the music, the characters, the plot, the maps itself, it just wasn't all that as I thought it would be. Another post talking about the combat is average at best. You know, like I said, the combat is amazing, man. I had the time of my life bashing zombie heads, replayed it 4 times and thinking about the first. Sorry, I couldn't disagree more. Here's the thing, man. The graphics and the combat, absolutely great. You know, I don't get how anybody could say no because it's so obvious that they did great in doing those two specifically. But, you know, other than that, like if you're bashing anything else, I would understand. But they're not the combat and the graphics, man. Like they cooked with that. They did a great job in that.
And that's a fact.
Of course, I'm not saying because the combat or the graphics are good, that makes the game overall good. Doesn't work like that. You know, you need different parts of the game to make it work. Like the story, the characters, the music, the gameplay, the graphics, all of that. Just because you have 2 out of the rest that are good doesn't mean the game itself is great. And like I said, you know, this person's saying I disagree. I thought the combat felt very satisfying and seriously can't say enough good things about it. Best game I've played in a long time. Loved the story. I don't know about that. The characters, don't know about that either. The zombies, yeah, okay, I agree. They were fun. The NPCs, also, like I said, different opinions, but it's hard to imagine people would actually think that because the story was just so bland. Like I remember when I completed the end, I was so annoyed. Not even annoyed, just very annoyed, matter of fact, because it was such a shit ending. You know, the characters themselves. I only remember the main character, what's his name, Sarah, and the other guy with the glasses, Jackson or something. Only those 3. Other than that, I don't remember any other character. The NPCs, side characters, yeah, I don't remember them either. Now we're on to Steam, man. People really enjoyed this game. No open world. Like I said, I guess it depends on how people feel about it. I guess to me, an open world wouldn't have made the game better, but more like the way they did it. Areas are pretty generic. No beautiful islands. I guess. I mean, I agree. Boss fights are terribly bad. I can't remember that. All I know is that the zombies were fun to fight. So yeah, non-charismatic heroes and characters. Cannot tell you the name of any secondary characters, which is true. The characters in the game are bland, unforgettable. Oh wait, I meant forgettable, and just people you wouldn't care about remembering, looking at all. Game story take itself too seriously compared to the first one and fail. I'm not sure. I mean, they were making jokes non-stop, so I wouldn't say it takes itself seriously. I mean, look at the beautiful reply here. You think this game takes itself seriously? Beautiful.